What up, y'all? It's TTC, aka the ThunderConductor, and I am so excited today. Like y'all don't understand, ooh, but just know we got greatness coming today. Today we will be doing a Deckteck Animar with Jean-Luc, the best Animar pilot I have ever met. But before we bring him on, I want to just first give introductions. If you are on Twitch, make sure you follow and make sure you have the notification so every time we're live, you know. And also for YouTube, come on, you know how it goes. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and ring the bell. That's the only way you're gonna know when I'm posting and when I'm doing the things I do. And also, if you're just looking for other ways to support your channel, we do have our ThunderConductor proxy line to increase access to this amazing format that we call cEDH. We also have if you check the link in the bio, you can just buy me a cup of coffee. We got have another way to keep the lights on. And lastly, we do have a Discord community that has an open access session area. But if you are looking for a way to get deeper into the community and have access to deeper dives in the MTG topics and discussions, and also with our like music side, because I am a professional musician as well, that's a way for you just to have like deeper conversations with me and just talk to me regular. But with that said, I'm going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Jean-Luc. What's up, brother? What's up, brother?
Yo, hello. Uh, like you said already, my name is Jean-Luc. And yeah, I play Animar, and I think played like for almost half a year, if I'm correct.
Okay.
So I have basically a lot of fun with playing it, and I'm an Animar main basically. I
Yeah.
only play that deck, and yeah, I try to improve a bit with that deck and find my own playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's actually that.
Cool. Brad, so you kind of like you've given us the introduction of you've been killing it, but I know 6 months people think like only 6 months. I don't know if y'all know Black Coffee or any of the other like high content creators, but Jean-Luc has whooped so many people's ass with this deck. It's so surprising how explosive, and honestly, even me, he's whooped my ass with this. Every time we play, I'm seeing a whole new line come up, and I'm like, God damn, I thought I knew how this deck worked. And it's a whole new line that comes up, and he just shows me, it's like, yeah, like it just has so many layers. But with that said, starting from the top, if you can't tell enough from this deck, we have Animar Soul of Dockside. It's a Dockside deck, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best Dockside decks in the meta right now, being in that team or color identity. But go ahead, brother. It's your world. We live in it.
Yeah, like TTC already said, Animar has become a Dockside deck basically. The idea is that we try to play Dockside and win with lines with either our Timur Sabertooth or Baron Master Wizard. So the idea is that we don't need to cast Animar to win,
Mm.
but you have to look at from this perspective. Animar is basically a creature that makes any um any combo that we run just basically much better. So
Mm.
for example, your Dockside will cost only one at one point, so it makes it easier to combo off. For example, usually you need like 5 mana with uh, yes, you need 5 mana with Timur Sabertooth to actually go infinite.
Mm-hmm.
But with Dockside, you with my play, for example, you only need 4 because Dockside only cost 1 when you cast it, and when you create 4 and you bounce your Dockside back with Timur Sabertooth, you just generate always 1 plus, so you're netting 1 basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have for those players that actually know Animar, we still run also the Ancestor Statue combo, but I would say it's more a backup plan
Mm.
to since sometimes you run in games where people just don't cast enough artifacts. And you're like, how do I do this? So it's basically a backup plan, but also in games where there's not enough artifacts on board, we also run Kinnan. So Kinnan makes it easier as well to win because let's just say you only make 2, but 2 makes already 4 with Kinnan. So basically you make
Mm.
So Kinnan, you have actually a good way to still combo off, and basically you run a lot of tutors. I would say one of the uh best tutors in this deck is the Imperial Recruiter, because Imperial Recruiter is like you basically, if you have Animar in play, for example, you get all the pieces you need. You can get Barracuda with it. You can get your Dockside with it. And if you have like, I think you only need 5 mana with uh, no, actually if you have 6 mana in play, if you have 6 mana in play, Animar is on 2 counters. You basically can all the pieces out and win from there. Of course, if there's no interaction or if you can protect your win. But one thing to note is actually really important is you run creature combos. So
Okay.
there's a good chance for you to actually get those combos through, because if you calculate sometimes and you look at the board, how many people are untapped or tap the whole mana, so there's basically only 2 counter spells that will hit you. It's either the Mind Break Trap or Force of Will.
Got
So
you.
you have to protect at least, you have to protect your win at least against those 2 things. So it's actually pretty good. So Animar is a deck, in my opinion, if you want to play it and be good at it, you have to learn to play it and understand how it works. Why there are certain cards. We have in the deck, for example, cards like Mesiomugger, which doesn't seem, but in an Animar deck, it's actually a tool for ramping. You ramp cards, and you can also use cards pretty well that are actually not that good. For example, Sylvan Tutor, which turns Sylvan Tutor in a tutor that you will with that tutor you will have the possibility, after you attack with Mesiomugger, to play that card. You basically exile it.
Wow.
Of course, it's like basically people will know what you're trying to do, but they have to stop it still. So nobody wants to counter a Mesiomugger, but if they counter Mesiomugger, then you have like a backup plan as well. For example, a Professional Facebreaker, which is also pretty good in this deck,
Right.
because Dockside deck, and you play your tutors. That tutor on the top, you have also oh god, what's the name of it? Finale of Devastation, which also tutors Dockside. So you basically just creating your own draw. So you don't draw, you exile it, but in the end, it gives you opportunity to get more cards off your deck.
Got you.
That able at first. So you have this list basically runs everything you need for the Dockside loop. For example, I run, which not every list runs, a body double, for example.
Well, hold on
Is
one
for
second,
me,
brother. Before we get into that, I
it,
actually have it. You actually were really
I,
touching
I'm
on some
sorry.
really good things. No, because I saw, I was like, hold on, he's getting his flow state. He gonna tell the good stuff too soon. Hold on. So
Yeah.
starting off, you had touched on actually some combos earlier, and starting off with the good old classic combo, you brought up the ancestral statue, which was originally, I would say, was it the main combo turned into more of a backup combo? You said now.
Exactly.
And so talk to me, how does this ancestral statue combo work?
So what you try to do is you just want to have 4 counters on Animar. So when you cast Ancestral Statue, and you have 4 counters on Animar, you actually bounce back the Ancestral Statue to your hand and replay it. And bounce it again. Then you create infinite counters on Animar.
Got you. From the ability that says when you cast a creature spell, add a counter, and with creature spells cost less for each counter, so then you'll just be able to bounce infinitely, and now you have infinite counters.
Yes.
Okay. So you got infinite counters now. What?
One,
Now what you do?
yeah. So back in the days, I guess. Also, by the way, only play Animar for half a year in cEDH, but my first commander deck that I built
Uh,
was an Animar. So I played Animar
got you,
for a
got you,
long
got
time.
you.
So, but in cEDH it's different because back in the day you run also creatures like Terror of the Peaks as an out,
Oh, is that in this
which
list or
also
not? No, not this one. Okay.
no, we don't run that anymore because it's all right. It's actually a good. I'm thinking of it. It depends how far I'm getting with this deck. Maybe to put it in this deck, but to
Mm-hmm.
be honest, the best outlet is still the Walking Ballista because
Ah, okay. So,
it's so easy to tutor. You
oh,
if
you're
again
right.
if you with your Imperial Recruiter, you basically get it so easily. Sometimes even that's actually a good tech. For example,
Mm-hmm.
you play your ancestral statue is not you cannot tutor it pretty good with like your Imperial Recruiter. But let's just say you have Imperial Recruiter and ancestral statue in your hand. So or the Imperial Recruiter is already on the battlefield. Field.
Mm-hmm.
You lost your Dockside because you tutored it and somebody exiled it with Mind Break Trap, for example.
Right, right,
And
right.
then you draw ancestral statue. The Imperial Recruiter is already on the battlefield. So you do your infinite, you go infinite, and with the last one, you bounce your Imperial Recruiter back to your hand. Recast it
Oh,
and get your um your
walking ballista.
yeah, your Walking Ballista out
Oh,
of your deck. And then you
wow.
also another good tutor is also the uh wait, I got it. Is the Survival of the Fittest. Survival of the
Yep.
Fittest basically strongest tutor. So one of the strongest, maybe second strongest to Imperial Recruit. I, it depends. It's really strong. It's definitely you can decide between those two, Imperial or Survival. I think Survival is really dangerous, and
Got you.
me and TT already had a game where when this card became actually my win count because I had only lands in hand and I needed one creature. I showed everybody that I had only lands in my hand, and I bounced. I made infinite counters on Animar, bounced my Dockside back to hand, and discarded the Dockside and got my ancestor statue, my Walking Ballista, and won with it. So
I'm talking about everybody was just salty at the table because if I remember that,
yeah,
it was the epitome of like I told the dude, "Yo, I don't know how he's gonna win, but no one just makes infinite mana with Dockside for no reason.
exactly.
I was literally saying I don't even know what line he's going for, but you just don't let someone make infinite mana. He's like, well, he's like he's showing he has all lands in here. I'm like, but why would he want to make infinite mana? I think he had like a Force of Will or what was a Mind Break Trap or something. He had some removal spell or something.
Yeah, he could have stopped me. And exactly, I think it was my break trap. I think it was my, and I'm like, okay, you can't stop me here. And I showed literally my hand. I had only hands, and I actually asked anybody, just look at my board. How can I win here?
Yeah,
Everybody forgot basically
the
the
survival of the
survival,
fittest. Yeah,
and
and that
that
would
actually gave me the
go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
that actually gave me that win. And especially what I like about survival in this case is if you can't tutor, yeah, that's why actually survival is maybe the best because with you can get your ancestor statue as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have enough counters, you go infinite and just discard the ancestor statue or walking ballista. So
Mm.
it's kind of a is recycling the right word or for that? I don't know.
I think with such a large creature count, if I'm looking at it right now, you do have 29 creatures, which is more on the beefier side for cEDH, but I would say I can hear you saying survival of the fittest being the best tutor, because it basically allows you to go Dockside Baron Master Wizard, or you can go Dockside or Teamer Sabretooth
It's the best.
and go
Yeah,
into the combo knowing I don't have the outlet, but as long as they're not an Aven Mind Sensor or an opposition agent, you can literally go from I can make infinite mana and then pitch the Dockside because I don't need no more, and go get whether it is Walking
exactly.
Ballista. And so within that though, before I want to move into tutors, but before we get into that, are there any other win cons? Of course, there's variations of win cons, but are those the main three win cons you would say? And with the outlet of Walking Ballista?
Uh, there's another one which I never actually used is basically, and this is actually the only win con that it's a bit weird,
Mm.
and I hope I never have to need the I hope I never need this win con, because it's actually I try to have to look actually at the primary real quick where they listed that win con. It's actually a swan song win con, so
Wait, what?
it's
Okay, you gotta
so
break this
weird.
down for us, bro. You gotta break this down for us.
So apparently, first you cast some instant or sorcery on enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
So you counter with Swan Song, you get a bird, cast, bounce, and recast Eternal Witness to get both pieces back. So basically, it's a if you have infinite mana and you have Baron or Team or Sabretooth in play,
Mm-hmm.
you make infinite mana and you bounce back
Swan
the
Song and the
Eternal Witness, the instant or the enchantment, and you just make
ah.
infinite birds.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly,
So,
so basically how it goes is you cast an instant sorcery or enchantment, you Swan Song, you hold priority and cast Swan Song. It
yeah.
will resolve
Hmm.
putting both in the graveyard but giving you a 2/2 bird. And then if you have your Teamer Sabretooth and or your Baron Master Wizard on field, you can cast Eternal Witness, which will return one of them, one of the either the Swan Song or the instant sorcery or enchantment to your hand. Then go from that to bounce it again, recast it,
Yes.
and then start the I'm not
I
mad at this.
never.
I'm actually not mad at this combo. I
Hey,
I am not mad at this.
the idea is basically is, let's just say Baron is gone. Okay, maybe let's just say Walking Ballista is gone, and the Ancestors Picture line doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically just a contingency plan, so
Got
that you
you.
something. And I think you still have infinite mana, and you can try to make something out of that, and
Yeah.
try to maybe find a way to have enough counter spells that if when you pass, that you still win when you get the turn though.
Yeah.
It's it's harder. I think again, I don't want to ever use this, but if it comes to, I would try.
I mean, brother,
If
I
it
ain't go.
comes to it, I would.
I think the only, and this is my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm biased because I just like the list because I lose to it so often. I like it because yes, you have to wait one turn rotation, but when you have creatures like Professional Facebreaker and other things along that line, Infinite Treasures basically says I have my whole deck in my hand, and
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
basically at that point, you're basically just telling the table, okay, I'm gonna have a grip full of counter spells because I'm gonna put the Swan Song back in my hand. So it's one Swan Song in my hand. If I have another creature tutor, I'm gonna get Professional Facebreaker and play it. And if you try to touch
Yeah.
anything on my board, I'm just gonna sack a shit ton of treasures until, in response to your counter spell, find another counter spell because I have infinite treasures.
Yeah.
Find another counter spell and then just
Yeah.
beat it out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And in that case that you also presented, let's just say I have the Baron, not the Baron, the Professional Facebreaker on the battlefield. It's also interesting because since we run with Internal Witness, anything that's in our graveyard is also in our hand
Oh,
in the
that's
end.
true.
So
That's true.
it's actually you play that turn is you try, if that works, of course, you try to make sure you win. So,
Yeah.
and also say you have in your graveyard a Boseiju, or basically anything that destroys bounces. With Baron especially, you can bounce every creature on the battlefield.
Oh,
And
true.
with a Boseiju, you just destroy all lands.
Shit, not you destroy
So
all and you destroy all lands and champions and artifacts.
exactly, you try literally. That's why it's a there are some conditions to this, but again, if it's your last out, you try to present, because Animar tries to present wins. It's a mid range, so if it works really good, turn 4. Sometimes I think the fastest was turn 3.
Mm.
So if you are able to get to that point that you have to meet that combo to win, that means you already presented wins
I got
and things
it.
in graveyard that you so it's already a longer game then, and this is your last out, and you will have something in the graveyard that if you mash it together it will work somehow.
I that makes it's like okay, I've tried to win 1 or 2 times already. I got just drew a swan
Yeah,
song. Let's just win with infinite birds, and then I'm gonna blow y'all board up. I'm
yes,
gonna make this impossible for y'all, and then go for
exactly.
the win. I got you, brother. Well, shit, you've been talking about tutors as well because we got great combos, but I think what I'm getting some energy from like is tutors are really the lifeline. Being able to consistently get your dockside, being able to consistently get your ancestral statue or whatever other creature you need. Like, talk to me about your tutor package, man.
Yeah. So I run my tutor package here. I run survival.
Mm-hmm.
Um, already told you about the Imperial Recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
We got also I forget the name always. The Invasion to Ikoria.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
have Worthy Tutor, Sylvan Tutor, and we have the what is the name of the last one? Ah, we have also shared summons.
Share
We
summons the
run that
spicy
as
one, but
well.
I like this in I like this in sands and decks that don't have black. I actually like this one. I like it.
Yeah.
Even the fact that you could,
Uh
I don't, do you run endurance in this list?
oh no, I don't run endurance.
Uh, One of my
I do
favorite things to
not.
do when I was playing Shalai and Halar, it was like a no stacks less version of the deck. If I had like a white or a green card in my hand and my opponents were trying to win with something, I would go share summonings, get a combo piece plus like a one of the evoke creatures. And so basically, like my opponents couldn't counter the shared summonings because I would be getting the evoke creature to like endurance in their graveyard if they was going Thasus, or if they were going like Malcolm, like a Malcolm Glenthorn combo, I would have the what's the solitude to pitch to it, and you know, so that was all. I love it. I love sharing something. But keep going, brother.
Yeah. We also run basically Weird Harvest. This is
Ooh,
actually a
okay.
spicy
Talk to me about
and
this one. Hold
part of
on now.
our
Hold on now. Talk to me about this one.
so Weird Harvest is already how the name the name says it is a weird card, because it says X, put X into this card, and every player searches for X creatures.
mm.
So people always like, what happens when opposition agent comes into play. The thing is about that card, it says may search. So since it's may,
Oh.
you never give somebody the win immediately. So you never actually cast that card when you don't try to win. If it's for, don't even try to play that as a value engine. It never works. You're giving
Right.
somebody. But what it creates a really interesting turn. If you have protection on board, but you try to win in this turn, and you can get actually 2 of your win cons. And since people usually, not all the time, there are instances where I cast that card and people like discuss between them and like, he's trying to win, just get creatures that he's not winning. But
Mm.
usually what people do is actually get the win cons, their Tassa's Oracle, whatever. And
Ah.
what it does is they have to decide if either if they can't stop you, if they give you the win or they just king make. This is such
Ah.
it's an interesting card. You put people in a weird position.
Mm.
If it resolves and they can't stop your turn. Because you can literally say, I have nothing. If you stop me here, the next person will win because we saw that he got his win con, basically.
Oh,
So
you're
it's a really
right.
interesting card. And I would say it's, in my opinion, an Animar card because basically you can get ancestor statue and let's just say you get also Baron whatever. And for example, or you get your walking ballista and you have two wins cons already in hand. You
Mm.
just want to resolve one of them. People will counter the first one and then you surprise gotcha. I
Mm.
have another one.
Right,
I
right, right.
also, which we will talk probably later, is I'll run as well the body double, which is also one thing that I like to do. I like to present multiple wins and try to make it that one of those win cons actually get make me win. So the thing is, of course, it depends. If somebody understands your deck, they are more cautious with what you are doing and wait for the right moment to interact. But again,
Mm.
with Weird Harvest, it makes it harder. It's a really, really interesting card in this deck. And it actually gave me a lot of wins. I always at first misplayed that card as well. For example, I tried to do, I think I did it once where I tried to like, okay, let's make a value play. Next play once.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't. I just tried it. Like I needed something. I think I wanted to dock, and I didn't have a sure win in hand. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Next player wins. Or yeah, that's why it's a
Mm.
good card, and we run a lot of tutors. That's why we try to remove the opposition agents,
Yeah.
the AV sensors. We don't want that. We are also some stack pieces are also annoying. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw like I'm definitely seeing like I hear you like with those Ava mindsets or opposition agents can be irritating because looking at like of course we look through your creatures real quick and when it comes to tutors, of course you brought up Imperial Recruiter and of course you have the clone effects to copy other people's recruiter effects on board. But looking at your
Yeah.
sorcery package, Eldritch Evolution, Finale of Devastation, Gamble,
Yeah.
Neoform, Sylvan Tutor,
Yeah, yeah,
Weird
yeah, we
Harvest.
have a
That's
lot.
and I even see a Chord of Calling here, brother. Like, man, like, and you've already brought up shared summons. Like, I agree. I love that tutor. It's such a fun tutor. Especially, I
Yeah,
believe instant speed is king. So that being an instant speed, okay, it's 5 mana. It doesn't
it's
matter.
powerful.
It I can either show I can hold up 5 mana. And now I'm a blue player. They're scared of me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is he about to
Yeah,
do? Share something. It's like, what the
yeah,
fuck? You know what I'm saying? And of course, the worldly
yeah.
tutor can't leave home without it. And then you bring up the best tutor in the entire deck, Survival of the Fittest. Like all these amazing tutors that really like these anti-search effects can really they can try to cuck you, but it really honestly shows that all right, even if you stop my search and we have an interaction package, that's great. But also, I'm seeing a lot of card draw effects in this, starting off with Sylvan Library, Ristic Study, and Mystery More. Can you talk to me about your card draw package?
Which one? What was the third one?
So we got a Sylvan Library, Ristic Study, and a Mystic Remore. I see those three.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also seeing a One Ring, which is thank you for running this. The best.
It's the best. It's really good. The only thing that we don't do is we don't run Minamo because
Mm,
we for example we need the variety of colors
got you.
because again there's a way that if again only with a recruiter, if you cast recruiter at one point, if you can protect that, it gets you into your win. So you need those colors. You need at least two blue and two red. But
Mm,
uh, one ring is still good. We
yeah.
have no way to, but there again, we are mid-range deck. we have moments where we need to grind, and casting it, having the protection, tapping, and getting more out of it is actually pretty good. So
100%, man.
it's a good card. I think almost every deck plays it nowadays.
They have
If
to,
if
man.
not every deck, so it's really good, and it protects you as well from certain weird things. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course we run Ristic Study, which is always good. Ristic Study wins you the game. So
That's real.
and we have ways. For example, we play because I talked about colors and all that, but we play also an ancient tomb,
Mm-hmm.
which if you can cast a Ristic Study turn one if everything is right. You play turn one, turn two, so it gives you possibilities. We have also Remora. I don't need to talk about Remora.
Turn one before a pass.
Yeah, it's good, and also it's cheap. For example, let's just say you try to win, you drew off top in Remora, and you have that one mana that you don't need. You cast a Remora, it also will give you draws anyway. So Remora is always good. Sylvan Library, since we don't run that much, Sylvan Library is also really good. The only thing it makes you a target.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than that, it's perfect. 3 cards off the top, insane to me. Of course, you pay your 8, but you already see always. You will see 3 cards all the time, and you will decide. And we also run a consecrated sphinx, and the
Okay,
con
okay,
swings.
okay, okay.
Yeah, the con swings is when you cast it for cheaper, it's really good,
Yeah.
but it's one of those cards that it's so good that it has
Man.
such a big downside, and a downside is people will copy it. Or so with concert swings, for example, what I like to do is sometimes it's my game plan. For example, I have a con swings in hand, and I have a lot of mana, and I can create enough of counters on Animar, and then I cast that. So I try to protect it, but also keep in mind, for example, you cast your con swings, next player copies it. You have to decide how much do you want to draw there. And since we are not a control deck, we have good control pieces. What I realized, if a player, an Azorius player, or a player that plays white and blue, gets the con swings, and you go into that, okay, next turn I draw, he draws, and I draw 30 cards of whatever, because that player does not care at this moment. So that person will try to silence you.
Cause bro,
So
it's too, it's fucking crazy. Like, if you all have not ever seen two consecrated sphinx on the battlefield, it is one of the most exhilarating, but at the same time most complicated stacks ever. Where literally, it is like the epitome of like where so much can be happening because it literally just happens when someone draws for turn, and you'll have one con sphinx trigger and to draw two and another, and it's like, but when the other person draws two, you have two more consecrated sphinx triggers, and then when
yeah,
that consecrated sphinx triggers twice, you have two more, and so it's just, if they want to, they could draw their decks out. It is a May ability, but it literally is disgusting, and it is one of the it's a crazy stack. I'm just gonna leave it like that. You need a person really having to write this stuff down. Unless everybody says, "I'll just draw the four, just keep it simple," it can get really
yeah,
complicated. But I do like this. I do like this, especially even though it doesn't. You said it didn't happen every time. I love how you can reduce this down to just being two blue, which is really dope. I think that's so dope to be able to go two blue, and I'm still gonna hold up more interaction. Enough
yeah.
said. You know what I'm saying?
And also, what I like is, for example, since you use resources, for example, let's just say I try to win with Animar, I have constant swings as well in hand, and somebody stops my Dockside, it goes to the grave, whatever, because they see what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, since I already created so much counters on Animar, I'm like, okay, now I play a con swings pass. and hope that I draw enough to get to my turn and start a new win. So to present another win and also maybe draw into interaction. So it's a Conswings is a good piece in this deck, and only again downside is if your plan is to cast that and somebody just destroys it at end step, for example, it hurts.
that is a thing. Yeah.
But other than that, it's great,
Yeah.
and yeah. I
I know you
think we
talked.
no other
I know you talked a little bit
draws. Yeah,
about
we have.
these towards card
Mhm.
draw engines a little bit now. The Mizzix, the Mizio Mugger and the Professional Facebreaker. I know you brought that up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Professional facebreaker, like I told you already, it's in my opinion, sometimes if you again, it's good for a grindy playstyle because like you get your professional facebreaker, right? You get also your Animar. Note that Animar has protection from white and black. So
Very good. Yep.
will get and at the right pot, you will always get at least one treasure. And Professional Facebreaker has also Menace, which makes it that you will probably get 2 treasures. So also, and yesterday I had a really good game where Professional Facebreaker was actually my cause of winning because somebody drew like, no joke, 20 cards with a Ristic Study. But again, he didn't drew into counter spells for creatures. So he drew a lot. And listen, I had I went into combat, made 2 treasures. For some reason, I cracked 1 treasure into a Professional Facebreaker. First card that I get is a Dispel. Second card is a Red Elemental Blast. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I have to force a win here. Because again, the other player drew almost 30 cards. So I have to do it. Two protection pieces. The only thing that I was afraid of, because what did I cast? I think I casted a Imperial Recruiter, if I'm not wrong. But I just literally casted a Tutor, and I was only hoping that he doesn't have now I forget the name. Opposition agent, exactly.
Got you.
This is the only hope that he didn't have in hand, because he was also playing. It was a blue farm deck, so I'm like, if he plays that, I'm done. I cannot. Oh no, it was a Fauna Shaman, and not it was the Fauna Shaman that I had in play. I had him play Fauna Shaman, got into my turn. And I'm like, okay, since I have those 2 protection pieces, let me get that Fauna Shaman.
Yeah.
I discard. I think I discarded Consecrated Sphinx. Get my Dockside, cast Dockside. Dockside makes me 8 treasures. I had already Baron Master Wizards in hand. Cast Baron. Nobody can counter it. And I pay for Ristic because he does not respond. And every time I pay for Ristic, so I make my infinite, and with the Professional Facebreaker in play, I just win because I get all the cards that I need, and I don't even show what I have to do. I just explain. I get my Walking Ballista with it and win, and everybody accepts us because they see I have the win on board. So I actually protected everything with 2 counter spells basically, because again, creature combos are so underrated and strong because again, 2 counter spells.
That's real.
Only hit it. So that's why Animar, in my opinion, if you play it right, you have a solid list with a commander that just helps your playstyle and helps your wins. So
that's so real.
Of course, people prefer to have like a commander that has the out already. For example, if you play Thrasios, you have your out in the command. It's great. I agree with that. It's really great. But Animar is basically gives you a pattern. You have one plan that you try to focus yourself on, and how to get to the end. You have one road. You're like, okay, find a way to get get to that point. That's what I actually also like about that deck.
Yeah.
It's actually it's really it's actually powerful. It's underrated, especially since Animar is also such an old commander. It has so many things that you can do. For example, also, let's just say one player drew too much and he has only black creatures. You go into infinite, you kill that player. Or
because the
or
protection,
he has the opposition agent on the battlefield, but he cannot protect infinite counters on Animar. You kill that player, and then you go to it's so good. There's like, so you have ways. The protection on Animar is actually cracked, especially in the era where we play cards like what is that orc?
Oh, Orcish Bowmaster.
Orcish Bowmaster.
Yeah,
so
that is a thing. Yep.
That's why, for example, if you don't give people too much draws, you actually can get your combo through. It doesn't get hit by so many things. It's what is that trophy thing?
Trophy mage or wait, no,
trophy. That instant that kills
Assassin's Trophy.
Permanent, like Assassin's Trophy.
Yep.
The other one that cannot get countered.
Rending Volley?
No, it's black green, I guess.
Black and green.
And cannot get countered.
Oh,
yeah, it's the
same thing as Assassin's Trophy, but it's on the cEDH.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah. What's this cEDH staples? I know what you're talking about. It's
yeah.
It's gonna piss.
I don't play black, that's why.
No, you good. Please. Marnius was my first black deck, so I am not mad at you. Abrupt Decay. That's it. Abrupt Decay.
Abrupt Decay. Yeah. It doesn't get hit by that. So, but of course, the only thing is the downside. Of course, a Pyroblast kills your Animar. Basically, it dies.
Mono Red to the rescue! Mono Red!
Mono Red to the rescue! Like, basically, and this is actually a situation where I'm like, so people don't attack your Animar that much, but there are moments where, because you try to win at turn 4 sometimes you can chill, and people like discover a pattern. They're like, maybe that Animar will be important because you have like only 3 mana in play, and you try to piece something together, and they like red blast your Animar, and you're like,
it's like fuck.
So there are situations where like, oh no, why is this happening? But people leave Animar alone for a lot of times because sometimes there are much different things that are actually really problematic on the board.
Yeah.
So a red Animation Blast will not usually hit Animar.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Unless like I see you, and this is the only combo that I got one time was Baron Master Wizard and Dockside. Jean-Luc had literally Baron Master Wizard, Dockside, and everybody's like, well, he's not gonna be able to make enough treasures. I was like, I'm thinking in my head, I smell bullshit, but you know what? The best way to learn is just to lose. That's it. Literally, I live by that. If you want to learn, lose to it. Just don't sit here and overcomplicate. Just fucking lose to it, and you'll never forget it again. This brother had Animar with like, what was it? Somewhere between 2 and 4 counters, and so basically Dockside and Baron Master Wizard Dockside only cost 1 red, and he only needed to net 4 treasures to pay 2, sacrifice a permanent extra treasure, and then 1 more. So at that point, he was able to at that point cast Dockside for 1 red, pay you 2, and sack an extra treasure. If he made 5 treasures, he had it. Where he basically it allowed him to combo off a 6 mana combo for 5, which doesn't seem like a big deal until you're trying to present a win on turn 3, 4, or maybe 5 if it's a super grindy game and you're just down 1 mana. You know what I'm saying? Or someone has a treasure that they can sack, or a Lotus Petal, or a J-Lo. That 1 mana makes a difference, brother.
Exactly. That's the thing as well. So again, like this is the most times I win actually. I have to calculate to a point where I know I need only 1 mana to recast Dockside. So I bounce Dockside, I have only 1 mana, but Animar again comes in clutch because I have the counter already. I just recast my Dockside and then I go infinite. Or what
True. It's
another
true.
piece,
It's true.
another piece in the stack that is actually part of the win con is my best friend Phyrexian Metamorph. Basic
Talk to me.
Phyrexian Metamorph, that's why I'm saying if you play your recruiter, you get Phyrexian Metamorph as well. So with Dockside, you basically you get Phyrexian Metamorph, you can replay Phyrexian Metamorph, get Baron, and with Baron, you can basically, if you have Dockside or you went for Dockside first, if you with the Phyrexian Metamorph, you can copy the recruiter. You literally need only, if you have 3 counters on Dockside, you only need 2 mana to bounce the Phyrexian Metamorph back to your hand because it will cost 0 at one point. So it's so important, in my opinion. Phyrexian Metamorph is so important if you go into Animar loops that sometimes you have to only calculate 2 mana. So, and this actually, again, that's also a thing that a lot of people will not know, especially that you only need 4, because they're like, how is he winning for me? It doesn't net any. And then they see Animar like, and they're like, oh no. It's really good. I would say probably the best Dockside deck is Dargo, Thrasios maybe, but in my opinion, Animar is basically, when it comes to Dockside loops, up there. So it maybe I would maybe I'm no. Let me say this. I
Talk
think
your shit, bro. Talk your shit.
when
What's the best Dockside deck? What's the best Dockside deck?
I think when it comes to looping Dockside, is Animar is the best.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you there. I
don't see any deck that can so of course you have to have your one counter on it, but I don't see any other deck that when it comes to loops.
Right.
Of course, Dargo has different things. It's a good Dockside deck because you can cast Dargo for free, basically. I wish Dargo could be a good plan in Animal, but it cannot. So
I hear you.
basically, that's the only thing. That's the only thing. But when it comes to looping Dockside, Animal does it the best because you have Phyrexian Metamorph. You just reuse that. Sometimes there are situations where you just copy the Dockside of somebody else, and you pay 2 life. Sometimes you pay 2 life because you make enough +1 to pay for a Ristic, but even then you make 10 mana, or like let's just say you do it 10 times, you lose 20 life, right? But you only need that 10 mana and to cast something else and go into a different line. So you have so much things going in the stack. The deck works the decks works really good in my opinion.
I have one question for you when it comes, like, while we finish up this card draw section, brother. And you brought up, like, the outlet being Walking Ballista and all the other things, and you actually brought this card up a little bit earlier. Thrasios. Is there a reason right now that Animar is not playing Thrasios in the 99 as another infinite mana outlet?
The thing is, yeah, we could tutor for Thrasios, but if I tutor for why would I tutor for Thrasios though? Because already I have all the pieces that I already need. If I go infinite, I tutor for the Walking Ballista. If I have infinite, I tutor for Professional Facebreaker. It's basically Thrasios, and Thrasios doesn't give me a grindy play pattern because we are not a Thrasios deck. We want to create resources make mana and all that. So
Right.
I think it would be a dead card in some cases. You just
Yeah.
cast that, you pass, you cannot even pay the thing. You never
No, I
you can't
definitely
pay for it. Like, you're crying right now, like nah.
no, I
But
definitely
it's a
do
good
hear you
idea.
there. I have to agree definitely. Since your infinite mana is all treasure based, you're never just making infinite of color like with like ISO Rev or whatever BS like that. You literally
Yes.
just go like, nah, like professional facebreaker is my Thrasios. You know what I'm saying? Because I just need to see all the cards, and then
Yeah.
with Eternal Witness, you can loop that. That's a good point. Um, I do.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to card draw, I think you brought up Consecrated Sphinx, really go to card draw. I'm seeing a
Oh,
Oran Frostfang. Talk to me about that.
yeah. Thank you that you're actually looking at the list and tell, because I even forget
No, you good,
about
brother.
those cards.
I'm seeing an Oran
Orange,
Frostfang, and I'm not seeing a Toski. So talk to me.
yes. Um, Orange Frostfang is better than Toski because Death Touch.
Ooh, ring a ring a ring.
Death Touch.
That's interesting.
Death
Okay,
Touch.
talk to me.
Yeah, Death Touch is really good because
Oh, you're
it
right.
makes nobody's blocking it. No joke. Whenever I play Orange Frostfang and I have like 3 creatures in play, and I tag people that don't want to block, you get those draws. They
Yeah,
like, for example, if you play against a Rocco deck, for example, they have their pieces in play. They don't want to lose those pieces. And
true.
since even if your creature is a 1/1, they're like, bro, you know what? Get your draw.
It's like it's not that serious, bro. It's not that like I'm not losing my combo piece for this.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you.
Like, what am I doing here?
And once
I
again,
would like to block your Dockside though. Your Dockside is only 1, but I will lose my creature. So it's really good. I think Aura and Frostfang, and also you can cast that for 2 sometimes.
I was just
And
about to say that
people
as well. Yep.
realize how dreadful it is. People will realize how dreadful it is, and they will start discuss with each other. They're like, you know what, he's drawing, because it's not like a what is a Timna where you just can draw when you attack different players, or professional facebreaker, for example, where you only get the treasure when you deal combat damage to different players. You can literally swing with all your creatures at one person, and if they don't get blocked, you draw 5. For example, if you have 5 creatures, of course. And Toski doesn't give you that. Toski is fine. You can also play Toski. It's fine, but in situations where you need those draws, people just block Toski as well. Okay, indestructible.
Yeah.
Block 1/1. I've been there. I'm like, that's so sad. Just take the damage, please.
I hear what you're saying. So, yeah, I definitely I have to agree with that. I especially for me, and I have to keep going back to this. It is synergistic and powerful with your commander, because I've seen you do this play pattern where you'll get out of turn 1 to turn 2 Animar, and little do we know you're setting up for Oran Frostfang or a Consecrated Sphinx, where it's like, okay, like why is he casting his commander this time versus another game he didn't? It's a setup play, because you can get, once you get that engine going, Oran Frostfang on turn 3 or 4, if or 2, 3, or 4 at that point will only cost 4 mana or 3 mana, where it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely hear you there, brother. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And
So
also,
go ahead,
for example, we have also a lot of we have also creatures in the deck that like copy a lot. For example, you can also use the commanders from different players to actually do something. For example, Animar turn. If it's good, I prefer to have Animar turn 2 and cast a copy spell to get a Timna, for example.
Yeah.
Or if you're mean enough, you just try to steal a Timna, for example, which I also like to do. So you attack, and again, if somebody is playing Timna, they're playing blue form. But again, if you steal Timna, they have the Drake. So
yeah, that's true.
It's sometimes not viable as enough. So copying it is alright, but you sometimes do different things. It depends always. That's why sometimes I'm at home, I play test it with myself. So like every player does. You're just drawing and things. And every time I do this, I realize how much I have to have different players because all my play styles have to do with what other people are doing as well.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not like
real.
Blue Farm, for example, has simple cons. Of course, our win cons is also simple, but Blue Farm is more self-centered in a way that if you want to cast Tassos and go there, it's easy.
Right.
There's nothing else. But with Animar, since you have creatures, you want to see what other people play. You want to copy that. You want to do your so only for grindy stuff. Of course,
Right.
you have your win codes that also centered about you, except Dockside isn't.
Yeah.
You have to know how much people do and also be creative with it. Because again, if Dockside count is only 2, you have to find a way to maybe either chill, relax, wait for the right moment, or just set up a Kinnan. You set up Kinnan, people don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, what is this man doing? He doesn't even have that much mana to do Kinnan flips, but little did they know trying to actually win with a loop, and also Kinnan is also an outlet. It
True.
that's actually so the outlet is weird in Animar, which is this is actually that I find really funny because we are still at the draw section because we have also Beast Whisperer in the deck.
Ah, you're so
So
100% right. You have Beast Whispers. Well, yeah, same thing. Every time
yeah,
you cast a creature spell, you get to draw a card. That's true.
exactly. So with Beast Whisperer and Ancestor Statue is basically you draw your whole deck, you
Mm-hmm.
win. That's the only piece in the deck. But they're not the only reason, but one of the reasons. But another reason is if you trade infinite mana, if you look at my list, you will see there's a lot of human creatures. So you will not get like that's Eternal Witness. You never get it with that, but you will run into your if you go into the loop and you have infinite, you run into a Beast Whisperer. And Beast
Mm.
Whisperer from that point out, even if you don't have an outlet in the hand, you only have protection pieces. You get your Beast Whisperer in play, and then continue your loop, your Dockside loop, and draw your whole deck. And then you get your Walking
Oh,
Ballista,
you're
basically.
right. Beast Whisper is
That's
basically
why
another Thrasios for you then, where people will usually Kennen flip into Thrasios. Now you say I've already
yeah,
made infinite treasures by casting creatures. Now I'm gonna do Beast Whisper,
yes,
continue it, and I'm gonna keep going till I hit
exactly,
my walking ballista or my ancestral stature or whatever the fuck I want to do to win.
exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
So Beast Whisperer can also chill sometimes because the 4 mana and what it does sometimes is lackluster. Sometimes you're like, it's again you do it when you're really in a big grindy game where
Yeah.
you like can do and try to, but it's not what you like. You usually it chills in your hand and you go into the loop and everybody's like asking what's your out. Then you play Beast Whisperer and
It's like, okay,
then
what's your
try to
out
think.
though? It's like this is my out.
This- exactly. That's your out basically, and that's what I like also.
Yeah.
And for example, that's why we don't play Thrasios
Yeah.
because Beast Whisperer can give us the draws at this point if we have to cast it for 4 mana or for 2 or even for 3, then it's fine. You just get your draw by casting creatures, which your deck already likes to do. You want creatures, so it's perfect. There's a synergy in this deck that and there are games that where Beast Whisperer never makes any appearance, but everything that you do has a way to a play pattern that makes it that you will find Walking Ballista somehow. That's
You're
what
right. Yeah.
also. So yeah,
I love
I
that.
think this is
No.
the last
Yeah. Is
creature
there?
as well.
Yeah. Is that the like? So we got these two. Is there any other draw engines? No, those aren't draw engines. We got.
I think got it.
I know we have
Yeah,
a
we
time
have
twister here.
Time
Question. Time twister. You running the one wheel. Talk to me. What's the decision on having running the time twister?
let's just say We have a protection piece in play in the deck that's really good. For example, what is the name of that? Forgot the name of it. Hope I did it. Put Wandering Archaic.
Oh, one.
So
Yep. One rock here. Yep.
idea, the idyllic idea, right,
Mhm.
is to have that in play, and if you need your draws, you need your combo pieces or combo pieces on your grave, you have only the wheel in hand, you cast it and try. So okay, you give your the other players cards, right? But Wandering Cake is on the battlefield already,
Right.
and then you try to piece something together. Or another scenario, which yesterday, because me and TTC already had the discussion, if when is the good when is the right time to actually play a wheel,
Yeah.
because wheels are bad.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad
if you
somebody did, bro. I do not like wheels.
if you cast a wheel and you pass, it's always such a risky move.
It
There are
is, man.
I think like there are situations where when you have nothing in hand and it's you need something and you hope to draw into the right thing, then wheel, maybe you can go into this risky play pattern. But the idea is what I yesterday realized is, so somebody has a heuristic study and you have things in the graveyard, for example, that you want to get back, you don't have anything to get it back, and one player is drawing a lot of cards, and you're like, okay, because Animar, this is just a recap from yesterday. I had in my hand Force of Negation, I think Swan Song, and another counter spell. So with Animar, you don't want to be a control deck.
Yeah. That's
So
real. That's a very good point. You
I
talked to me
wanted
about that before.
I cast a Time Twister in hope, so just to hope that it gets countered, because I know the one player with the heuristic study maybe will go into a win, and I only have interaction pieces in hand, but I had after casting the Time Twister, I also had like 3 mana left, so if I draw into a Dockside, I can maybe start something.
Right.
So I cast it, and I'm like, it will get countered, but it's fine. You got a counter out of their hand, basically.
Yep. And now either you get the counter magic out of their hand when you have more protections, you have more interaction in your hand for their turn. And in addition, now you flip that around, you can basically go now off completely just went brain fart, but you got the counter magic. But say if it does resolve, okay, that's fine. Now whatever win con that you had in your hand or whatever plan you had, now that's out the window. Now everyone is gassed up to stop you on your turn. Even if you have the combo pieces on turn, now everybody, our 21 cards, can stop that heuristic study player with their 7 cards. And that I feel like that's one of the examples of where I have to agree, where like a Time Twister, even the fact that it shuffles away graveyards. So now like it's almost like the breach player has to counter it, or their whole plan goes in the trash. Like I've seen people do something on 1 to 3 cards, but if you have no cards in your graveyard, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I hear you there. I do hear you there. Like
other players even protected my Time Twister at this point, but in such a way that it wouldn't give the heuristic study player more draws. So in the end, what he does is just counter the wheel, and we have the same problem because he drew already too much.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it worked out. I won that game. I got my stuff back in my hand.
Yeah.
The other player lost his hand, got a new one, and through the cycle, when it came to me, I literally won the next turn. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But again, wheels are always risky. You have to find a way when to play it, and yeah.
It's not easy.
You have protection board, or let's just say you have ton of mana and just getting that can do something. Or Professional Facebreaker, you already got 2 protection pieces from Professional Facebreaker in exile. Then you cast it and try to win. Then it's not the most risky thing you do. It's still risky always, but it's all right. It's a valid card, and that's why we always run only one of those things
Yeah,
because it's just something special, or
yeah,
let's just say a thing that we do once,
yeah.
or yeah.
You can't go wrong with it. One turn one wheel as well as broken as well. You go land mana crypt.
That's also I hate if people do that to me. I'm always sad because mulligans are really important in this
Yeah.
game, and somebody it's so infuriating when somebody does that turn one. It's like it's so it's provocation at that point. It's
Yeah,
just
bro.
like
I kid
you
you not. Yeah, I've there's only been one time where I got a better hand off a turn one wheel. Every other time I was like, it would either go solid 5 to some mid 7 or like solid 5 into no lands where I'm like, okay, draw a card, discard,
exactly.
pass. Because like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough.
that's
Um, and I
yeah,
think, yeah, so I think that's all the card draw that I'm seeing. But we've
yeah,
been talking about win cons, we've been talking about card draw, but you kind of brought up interaction. So let's talk about your interaction package, brother. I'm seeing Alchemist Retrieval, Chain of Vapor, Stop Me at Any Point. We got D SWAT, Force of Will, Force of Negation, Flusterstorm, Fierce Guardianship, Mental Misstep, Mind Break Trap, nothing but go interaction thus far. We got Mystical Tutor. Oh, another tutor we missed earlier, but we got
I
Noxious Revival.
true, true, true.
We got Noxious Revival, which, and I'm actually glad we're glazing over this Mystical Tutor, where Mystical Tutor is interesting to me seeing this in a creature deck, but kind of going through your interaction package, not only can it find another tutor, it actually can just find interaction as well, which I'm not going to lie, I like that.
Exactly.
It You just find
Yeah,
these goaded interaction right here. Noxious Revival is cool because it can be recovery during the incept. I'm gonna put my Dockside back on top, or okay, you're going for your Thrasios win. Oh, how many cards you got in your library? Noxious Revival. Let's do that. And Phyrexian
yeah,
as well. So I can hold this up as like a tapped out piece of interaction. Path to Negation.
yeah,
I hear people say this is bad. I fucking love it. I don't give a fuck that I have to pay 5 mana. If either I'm winning either I'm using it on my winning turn and I'm not going to pay the 5, or come on now. Like, it's fine. Like, we'll be
yeah.
fine.
Uh, Act is always something that's uh close to my heart, and also there's a situation where you don't want to have pact, but you have pact as protection piece basically, and if you have to counter, for example, again in Animar, there are situations where pact will never help you, but
Yeah.
let's just say you want only to cast, because cEDH basically is also about getting to your turn, right?
Yeah, that's real.
So imagine you have a Dockside in hand. You pay your 5, but you have 1 mana and 1 counter on Animar.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes, your Dockside. So, and again, if you have Pact in hand, it gives you a better feeling of to go into a win anyways, because Pacting, you want to win this turn, even if you need to pay next turn. It's pretty good, and
Exactly.
also yeah, with our Mystic Tutor,
Mm-hmm.
it also, yeah, it gets your tutors as well, which is great.
Yeah.
And it's it's another thing, like I explained before, with the professional face breaker Mesium Mug Alliance, where you get the thing anyways on top. You will get it this turn. So
Exactly.
you can also get a which I like to do is a Chain of Vapor,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
because Chain of Vapor Dockside is pretty nice.
Is it now?
Uh,
Is it now?
Pretty nice though, and also you can bounce other creatures because you sometimes you want to make more counters on on Animar, so you bounce, or you bounce your another tutor that we forgot is my where is it? Uh, I forgot the name. Your Spellseeker, exactly.
Oh, yeah, we did. We
Spell-
skipped over Spellseeker. Yep.
you can rebound Spellseeker. You get, for example, bounce Spellseeker. Um, get Neoform, sack Spellseeker into Neoform, for example, get Ancestor Statue, bounce back to your hand. So it
Mm.
tutors for something that you will use to sack it anyways.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
It does a lot of things, and Yeah, we only run bounce interaction because Dockside.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you there.
So
We've talked about that
the
before. Yeah.
interaction that you have in the deck is for better wins, better like Dockside loops, but also to bounce important important things that stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if somebody has the mana to recast a professional facebreaker, unfortunately, it's sometimes bad. But again, if you have the chance to get into your, that's why Gilded Drake is also a piece
Mm-hmm.
that you shouldn't just use in any situation. Like, okay, I steal that creature only if like that creature helps to win, um, helps that person to win.
Yeah.
But if you have any turn, you cast a Gilded Drake for one to steal not professional facebreaker, the opposition agent,
Yeah.
get it onto your own board. Now you can start tutoring. So it's your package is actually surrounded, uh, plays around your own combos
Yeah.
and how you want to play. Sometimes, what I also do is ancestor statue for 0, not to go infinite with it, or it's just to bounce Dockside back
Mm.
because sometimes like there's a heuristic study in play. If I go into ancestor statue, win, I will feed him so much cards that I bounce the thing. And again, I talk a lot about professional Facebook, but I just really like that card
No, no, you
instead.
good. That it is
Just,
a great card. I'm not gonna lie. I love it in my
just
Ryoyo
like
list,
that.
man.
So you bounce back Dockside with that for 0. And also what is also really good, when you play the ancestor statue, it comes onto the battlefield. It says choose a creature. It's actually permanent like that.
Yeah, choose a
Ancestor
non-land
statue is
permanent. Yeah, return a yep.
a non-permanent on your battlefield. So since it said choose, the people have to decide on ETB what they do. You don't name a target, so they never know what you actually want to do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they like afraid of it, but you have a different plan and they try to destroy it. It gets destroyed, Dockside goes back.
Either way, either way.
Either way. That's why it's actually really good in this deck. And also you replay your Dockside and then you try to find something to get rid of the heuristic study, to balance heuristic study,
Yeah,
for example, with that. And yeah, uh,
man. Like,
it,
and if I could just,
everything
yeah,
works.
I'm gonna throw this in about
Yeah.
Gilded Drake. One thing is like, so as you all know, I'm playing Marnies right now. I'm actually not running Gilded Drake because one of the biggest things is, and you can see it from Jean-Luc's list, clone effects are at an all-time high right now in the meta. And one of the mistakes
Mhm.
I feel like players do is they'll cast a Gilded Drake, try to take something, try to take your thing, and if the person runs any clone effect, which everyone does now, at least Phyrexian Metamorph because of the One Ring, dude, they're just gonna end up taking it back and or either taking something else that can either get it. But I like how Jean-Luc's play pattern is, where it's like, no, it's just like on that winning turn, unless it's like a problematic creature, like a really problematic creature, I'm just gonna fucking guild. Oh, wait, there was one time where I think on a winning turn you Gilded Draked my Rionia, went to combat, copied your Dockside to give you enough mana to end up getting then you had enough mana to pull off the win because you were too short on mana, so you went Gilded Drake, go to combat. It was like you made 2 or 3 guys. I think you had snap or something else. So I do like your play pattern where it's like, okay, I'm not like, I can use it as a big problem, but I can also use it similar to Pact of Negation, where I use it on that on that winning turn to help get me across that finish line, to take a oppo from somebody or to enhance my own board state. Because I love saying Rionia is just better than everybody else's 99. So,
Really, is really, really funny though.
yeah.
And also one other tutor we run also birthing pod.
Oh, we do. We got Birthing Pot.
Or we run so many tutors actually.
Oh,
We
you are
run
100% right. You run Birthing Pod. Granted,
yeah,
you don't have the traditional pot line, but with so many creatures, you probably just, if you memorize all the CMCs, it'll get you there. Sheesh, man.
exactly.
Man, just to finish off the interaction package though, after pack we do have Pyro Blast, RA Blast, Snap, another Dockside. You guys, this is another way. Bounce a Dockside and float extra mana, Swan Song combo piece and all that. And of course we have Veil of Summer, Goaded, Mono Green Tutor. Hopefully, let's just pray they drop the rest of the. Yeah, and we also have Veil of Summer, just another way to do the protection and all that other good stuff. And then when it comes to, we're actually gonna be right back. We'll be right back, y'all.
Okay, my mother just came in.
You good, brother? You good, brother? You good, brother? You good? We are back, and with that being said, Veil of Summer, Goaded interaction piece.
Yeah.
Let's see. Before we get into our rant package and then also into our lands, we do have to talk about these last piece of interaction. First one, I see a Wandering Archaic. We touched on this one a little bit. I wanted to ask you to do two things. Talk to me about Wandering Archaic for this deck, and also I wanted to know Dosan the Fallen Leaf. Like, I'm not seeing that. Is there a universe where maybe Dosan would have a place in over Wandering Archaic, even though it would cost you 1 green with the tone down? Or I wanted to talk to you about that. So those 2 points right there.
Yeah. The thing is, I was thinking about it a lot of times, how I should implement those cards, for example, Dosan. But the thing is, what is the power on Dosan basically?
Dosan the Fallen Leaf is it is a 2/2.
2/2. Actually, could be, but it doesn't reduce the pips.
Yeah,
So
that's true. 2 green pips is a lot.
mana, maybe with a birthing pod. Yeah, but I think the other interaction that I was thinking about was a Tidal Barracuda, for example.
Oh,
I played it for a while, but the thing is, I have to be honest, there's just a few times where I hoped I had something like that on board. Because again, you try to calculate what was already played. If a Mindbreak trap was already played, you're like you have more faith in winning this turn.
right.
Or
right,
somebody
right.
force on something. So again, that's why I like to try to do multiple wins. And it's interesting, like, since you said Dosan, people, when you sec for example something into birthing pod to get a 3 CMC spell creature that gets, for example, Professional Facebreaker, people actually flip out. They're like, we have to stop that man, he's getting Dosan. Because it's like there are 2 creatures that people assume are played. It's either a Oof or Dosan.
You can't play Oof.
Dosan. I cannot. That's why I cannot. It's impossible. It's for me to play Oof. I don't want to see that card. It stops me in so many ways. It's insane.
No, yeah. If you all are not familiar with Oof, that's not how you spell it. Collector. Collector Oof is basically says cuck Animar and every other deck that uses artifacts as a form of ramp. It just stops all activated abilities of all artifacts. And if y'all could tell anything of this right now, we have a lot of artifacts that we need, and we can't even, we can win without it, but we like to generate infinite mana with the Dockside loop. So no, we're not playing Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
So then with that being said, you kind of brought it up a little bit earlier though. Before we move forward, was there anything else you're going to say about the Tidal Barracuda though?
Yeah, the Tidal Barracuda was an idea because since it costs 4 mana and there are situations where Tidal Barracuda will only cost 1. My idea, or somebody gave me that idea, is actually, if you cast that, it's basically for free. And it gives flash, but not at your turn though. You are protected.
Right.
And but also one thing about Dosan is if somebody runs a Otawara and bounces something that's important to your win con, you basically give the next person also the win. It's really hard.
That is really
Tidal
true.
Barracuda is also a thing that they gives everybody flash, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I I never. There's a situation where I wish again if Animar had white, it would have been too good
Yeah.
because silence and everything. But you have your Veil of Summer, for example.
Yeah.
Again, but don't forget Mind Break Trap. It goes through that. But yeah, Tidal Barracuda is something that maybe in the future, if I need that, but right now I don't feel like putting that into the deck because it does only one thing.
Hmm.
It's only for your winning turn, but does not remove anything. It's basically a Dosan that just is. Yeah, you can cast that for one. And I was thinking about maybe play that and try to win at flash speed on
Yeah.
top on somebody, which is also funny. But yeah, this is actually a card that needs to be tested more.
Yeah.
But I feel like right now we good with what we have here.
Yeah, I'll even throw this in. I was gonna ask you about Born Upon the Wind at the very end, but this is a great time to ask about it. Like, how do you feel about Born Upon the Wind? And even more, like, this kind of makes me look at Tidal Barracuda as a really great card in your deck because you can pass turn with win in hand, knowing another person has the win attempt, and you are able to really do very disgusting things where it's like, well, I guess at that point you would be protected during your turn, but say if you knew they had the Boseiji or you read Boseiji off somebody or off or Odawara, you can literally say, okay, I'll lose protection, but I still can win an instant speed on top because your win line doesn't. You
Yeah,
don't have to be during combat like Rionya, or it's not a planeswalker like Teferi,
exactly.
Temporal Archmage. It's literally just infinite mana, walking ballista, infinite mana, infinite birds.
Yeah, basically, it could work. It's that's why I'm torn when it comes to Tidal Barracuda. I'm always like, there's or like you like to say, there's a world in which it's possible. Like there is a chance, but the thing is, yeah, but it can also fail though.
Yeah,
And when I tried that, it gave me also. I think I had 2 games where it gave me the win, but it's also giving up a slot for it as
yeah,
well. And I never. You have it's so conditional. You have to have certain cards in hand, and also with Tidal Barracuda, if you try to win without your Animar, for example,
hmm
then it's a dead card because
you have to pay 4
again
mana.
sometimes you're so tight. Yeah, you're so tight on mana that you're like, okay, I have a plan to cast this, that, activate Baron. I have
Yeah,
that mana, then sacrifice, for example, I have to sacrifice a permanent to create so much mana that at this point I can go infinite. But if they cannot mess with your creatures anyways, at this point, Tidal Barracuda is unnecessary.
yeah, I hear you there. I hear you there.
That's the only thing. But again, it's not a bad card in this deck. In my opinion, it's
Mhm.
something, and this is also what I like about the animal lists is you play by the way your own playstyle basically.
Mm-hmm.
Many people don't run Noxious Revival, but I realized with my playstyle, it's perfect. Again, since I like to go with professional Facebreaker a lot. It just sometimes it's just a backup plan. I cast something, it gets countered,
Mm-hmm.
Noxious Revival, second treasure gets back on top, let's go. So for my play style, it's really good.
Yeah,
For some play styles, it's bad.
yeah,
And the same thing is Tidal Barracuda. I think if my play style was different, I think Tidal Barracuda would fit well in an animal list actually.
I hear
And
you.
it's a card that is good to play. I like it. I have a heart for this card.
Yeah, no, I really do hear you there. Like, it is. I really love how you said that with about play styles. Like, there is another for me, like the example for me is like it is a card called, that's a tongue twister, Glorious End.
It's a card.
And yeah, yeah, it's a card called Glorious End. And I play this in my Rionia deck.
What does,
You said what?
what does Glorious End do?
So Glorious End is an instant that costs 2 in a red, and it says end the turn. At the beginning of the next end step, you lose the game. So we bring up play styles. This is not a card that I would recommend for every deck. But if you're in mono red and you play explosively and can be patient, this is actually the best card ever, because it basically is a mind break trap for the entire turn. It just exiles everything on the stack, exiles everything. It's just done, because ending the turn exiles this spell and every other spell and ability on the stack. And if you basically are if you are a 1 card combo piece, like for me in my Rionia deck, is like Rionia Combat Celebrant, Rionia Port Raiser, blah 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 blah. It allows me to move that. However, I've talked to other Rionia pilots where they said, man, I tried it, I lost it. I was like, well, what conditions did you, like, how did you play? Were you being patient? Like, did you just pop it off at the first time? You know, there was like a spell that was gonna go on the stack that you didn't like. This is not a counter spell. This is, I'm about to lose the game. I'm like, this is it. I need, like, I just need one window to win, and here's I'm creating the window. And so it also, you know, it does, I do run Sundial and the Infinite, and it works great with extra turn effects, which we could talk about that a little bit later. But I bring this up because I do really love how you bring up playstyle, and this is one of my playstyle cards that I just love. And I definitely can hear like something like Tidal, Barracuda, and some of the other inclusions are like, you got to realize, like, there is a main deck, but learn the deck, but then figure out what your playstyle is. That's how you become successful.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's actually why I play Animar, because it actually I figured out a way to find my own play style with this deck, and play around those cards and try to see, okay, how can I, not fooling, but let's just say, how can I play in such way that I can present multiple wins. Noxious Revival, have your Eternal Witness. So people just put things on a stack that are really good. So you want that counter gone.
Yeah.
If your Dockside gets Force of Will, play around those things. And that's why because I when I first started playing Animar, I lost a lot. When I understood the deck, I won so many games back to back. It's insane.
Wow.
There was a time, it's crazy. I mean, we were in one game. Even Coffee said he never beat my Animar deck. Like,
and Black Coffee's a great Magic player, bro. That when he told me that, I was like, fuck, damn, you expecting a Black Coffee like that?
Yeah, and when I play, sometimes people are like, oh, Animar, I never beat that deck. But people, like, at one point you run into players that play aggressively against Dockside, and I had a time where I lost so many games. I'm like, damn, what is happening? What? Like, almost lost confidence there. Like, okay, what is happening? Now I'm losing back to back to back to back, and this actually improved my playstyle a lot, because I found a way to, okay, yo, this is how it goes. You have to play against those removal spells. You have to play against those counter spells and find a way. Okay, if this doesn't work, if you have this in hand, a win is almost guaranteed. And that's why, like, Noxious Revival, I tested it. I started playing it, like, I think 3 weeks ago, maybe, or 2 weeks, something like that. And I realized how good it works with my playstyle. I'm like, okay, I have to keep the card in this deck. And
no, I hear you there, man. Shit, bruh. Before we close this Deckteck out, I just want to it kind of like, I'm hearing that we're talking a lot about playstyle, and so I'm guessing the Wanderer Archaic, where there's a lot of people in the community, and I'm not gonna say it's bad, it's just not my favorite type of interaction, because it's like people have that optional to pay to, but most times they won't even have the mana if you set it up correctly. I'm hearing though, is Wandering Archaic another one of those where based off your play style is just a goat in the deck and is a mainstay?
Um, I think this is besides playstyle. I think it is a mainstay in an Animar list already. Because
Got you.
no, for 2 mana,
That is true. You basically cast this for free if you have enough counters. That's a good point.
exactly like this is and on top of that, it works with my playstyle as well because I want to present either counter this if I cast it for free or for 2 mana, counter this, but I want you to lose that force of will.
Yeah.
Please. And if it comes into play, I'm looking like, okay, he cannot pay 2 mana. He cannot. It's basically win. And there are situations, and this is interesting. We don't play stacks pieces, but Wandering Archaic is such a good stacks piece. If you cast it, you have no win and you pass because the play, you create a mini game.
Yeah.
How do we remove that? And nobody will remove that for the other player.
Yeah.
Because they know a blue farm wants to tutor. Like, even if I want to win, I'm not removing that for him because he will try to win. So people, it gives you the possibility to go in your mid game run anyways because you just chill. Like, okay, and people try to kill it at end step and have enough mana. You can see what they're doing. They're like, okay, I'll leave that mana open. Kill spell, pay 2 so you don't kill something else. Sometimes if the player, how smart the player is, they force you at a mooning attack for somebody else. They force you to kill something else as well. This will happen. This is how cEDH works, unfortunately. But again, it's a stacks piece that nobody will Adnos will give you. Adnos basically, that's why I love that. I really like that card a lot because we also run Mana Vault, for example. Sometimes I don't care Animar. If my mulligan wasn't the best, I didn't got Dockside, but I kept the hand which has protection plus that. I cast it stays, and people just relax. They're like, okay, I don't want to give him anything because irrespect. So I think if you run into a person that doesn't respect Animar, you win. But people that respect your deck, at least, they will not do plays that will put you ahead, basically. So
they'll think about it. I found I have to agree with that. Like even me, and you would. It's funny like that. When I play against your Animar list, like of course I'm warning the table. It's a Dockside list and all these other things, but
you're always like
I'm like telling
like
people, y'all, look,
chill.
Yeah, I'll be telling people like, yo, like please respect, like especially Jean-Luc on Animar. Like he is, in my opinion, the best Animar pilot on the planet. He just like the tournament scene just hasn't had him yet. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the numbers to calculate how good he is.
Up and coming.
Up and coming, bro. Y'all look out for Jean-Luc in the tournament scene. But I definitely like when he like it is a thing where you have to respect him. And it even shows the effectiveness of the deck, because even me I'm not gonna say like I'm the Animar master, but I get the gist of what the deck is doing at a high enough level where I can stop it. He even like, before we get out, like we can talk about the rocks, we can talk about the land base, everything looks good, but there's a couple of these cards in here that are both interaction pieces but also just will get around in the most niche situations. Like you talked about Body Double. Like this was a card where I was playing my Marnius list and I had Italian out. What's up, EDH? He had a body like I don't know, like bruh. You know what? Now that I think about it, Jean-Luc is the reason I'm not playing Charming Scoundrel in Marnius right now. I played it.
Which card?
I played it
Ah,
wrong.
yeah,
I played it wrong. I
yeah,
played the
yeah,
card wrong. Let's leave it here to that. It was a little underwhelming for me just across the board. But it was basically where I had Italian out, was draining Jean-Luc and the whole table with them casting 1 and 2 drops. I mean 1 drops, and he basically could not do a dockside loop. And we had stopped him too with counter magic because I was really aggressive against stopping him from getting the dockside
yeah, yeah.
or
Yeah,
from
no, no,
recurring.
you. That's why. That's always when I play against you. And this is also a topic that's really interesting. Since you started playing blue, it's kind of annoying because you are the only one who will risk it to counter my Dockside. And it make me so angry at this moment. I'm casting the Dockside. I'm like, no, he will let that resolve. It's not a win. He's like, no, I will counter.
No, bro. Okay,
And
just on
actually,
that topic, I gotta throw this in there. I can't. So I had another stream with Call Me Beam, and he was a Marnies player. He's one of the top performing. He actually just top 3, the top forward, got 3rd place in top forward this past weekend. And we were talking about his Marnies list. It's different from mine, but he talked about like some things you can't just let them resolve certain value pieces. And so when I was figuring out how I wanted to play my Marnies list, I was like, okay, this is not my play style, but let me just try the whole cutting people off at the ankles and stopping ritual spells. And when I say my win percentage shot the fuck up, I'm talking about I'm gonna hit your dark ritual, I'm gonna hit your dockside. Like during the finals, I mana drained wounded satellites dockside for 12.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like the announcers and everybody was literally sitting there like, I don't think that was the right play, but I'm sitting there, I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not letting him get 12 mana in an Omnixilus deck. And I trick bind the other Rakdos player. I trick bind his dockside ability. And so it's not, it is hate on dockside, but at the same time, it's more of like understanding you can wait for if you see that the turn, if they're getting ready to do a winning turn, a lot of times the best spell to counter is the ritual spell going into it. So that is your dark ritual, that's your death ritual, that's your seething song, and that's your dockside. And a lot of times, if you could stop them from generating that first boost of mana, it shuts down the entire turn. And a lot of times leaves them in a position where they can't even interact with you on your winning turn. So yeah. I'm a blue player at heart. I play mono red like blue, but y'all just never seen me play blue before. So we got EDA Senpai saying he's using the trumpeting Carnosaur loops yet, or nice to hear different pilots. Oh, nice to hear different decks pilot differently. Yeah. So it's basically, just to give EDH an update. Jean-Luc, in my opinion, is the best Animar pilot I've ever played against, and I think when he starts doing tournaments, we will see Animar hit some more top 16s like we've never seen it before. We just got done doing a full deep deck dive on it, like talking about, like right now we're kind of talking about body double, and basically the end of the story that I was giving is basically where he was able to get around my Talion on 1 by doing body double because I killed his dockside and allowed him to basically go, I'm just gonna because of his freaking Animar, body double only costs 1 blue, so he was able to make infinite mana and win right there on the spot, and it was impressive. I wasn't even mad. It was like I had never been so okay losing because I was like, that was just fucking impressive. Like, yo, it's impressive, brother.
Also, that's why it's also important to play in a group, play against a lot of people, or play in a pod that you know. Like, since you counted my dockside, my brain needed to think, what can I do? Because I think I only had like, how much mana? I think I had 2 mana left, but I tutored for something, and I was thinking I had 3 mana, I guess.
Yeah.
Tutored for something, and I couldn't tutor for Eternal Witness.
Yeah.
So basically, if I get Eternal Witness, I get my Dockside in my hand, but I cannot recast that. So
Right.
my body double is the only thing that will give me the win here. And that's why it's a card that I think there's no list that runs body double. But again, that's all only because of my play style that I have that in the deck. So where it is that okay, they counter the stuff. Dockside gets into the grave for real, and I have nothing to get it back. So
Yeah.
body double, Aaron, body double, and Timur Saber 2 is basically
Man.
another Dockside loop. And you brought up Talion.
Yeah.
Talion is an enemy of stack. So there are a way to play around that, and the ways are mostly clones. The best one is body double and Phyrexian Metamorph
Yep.
because they cost on they are 4 CMC on the stack, but body double is the one that gives you the win
Yeah.
through Dockside being in the grave. And sometimes if somebody else has a Dockside in the grave, and if you get the Dockside definitely, or
Oh
somebody
yeah,
is
because it
playing.
says any creature card in a graveyard. I do like that. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
real.
It's underrated in my opinion, because what also people try to tutor their what is that creature that says you can tutor for something and then it gets convoke, for example.
Oh, Hoarding Brute Lord. Hoarding Brute Lord.
Or they get to their graveyard. Nobody knows you're playing body double. You get your brute lord, and people start stopping your body double at this point because they understand giving your creature combo deck convoke, getting the pieces you want is crazy.
Yeah.
So I also won already because somebody milled a what is it? That big crab that everybody plays.
I'm not sure which crab is that one.
The one that says whenever you cast a spell, you can bounce anything on the board. It's like
Oh,
Tidespell Tyrant,
Hullbreaker
but
Horror. Hullbreaker Horror.
Hullbreaker Horror, yes. Hullbreaker Horror in the grave, you get your Hullbreaker Horror. It's really good in Animar.
Yeah.
Body Double is, my opinion, a goated card.
Yeah.
And
we have EDH in here saying it's like a more versatile karmic guide in your colors. No lie.
basically, yeah, it's basically a more versatile karmic guide for sure. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Nah.
But only for Animar, basically. I don't see it. It costs 5 mana. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no,
it's so much mana that you have to use. So in Animar, if you cast that for 1, it's insane.
Yeah.
Or again, Dockside anyway. So you cast that, let's go, bounce it, whatever.
Facts. I do hear you there. Because even if it costs 5, if there's a high enough Dockside, because I'm sure you've had games where Dockside count was well in the double digits.
Yeah, but in between, so what is important here is you have to find a way, and this is what I do. Sometimes I don't cast Animar, but I create enough treasures to cast Animar in between something where I know when I cast that I reduce it. Then of course you have to do math, thinking about the reduction, and then how do I get there so that it will cost 1 in the end, and then you go from there. So yeah. No. And I like also the reaction when people see me win with body double. I mean, like people are like, what?
I kid you not. I have to say that is, out of all the win cons you stated today, that is absolutely my favorite win con that you have. By far. It is that is my favorite. It is so niche and perfect for not just your playstyle, but just the deck itself. And it shows great deck building that someone really sat there and just like thought hard about. This card sucks, but in my deck, it's cracked. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Smothering Tide and Marnius where both are good by themselves. No, it's literally like it's this card does exactly what it needs to do in my deck. And when you add in your play style and your like experiences and everything, it just that's my favorite combo in your deck, especially because you can, if you never find Dockside, or if your Dockside gets Praetor's Grasp or Peer in the best or not, Praetor's Grasp, you always have another Dockside, because there's always going to be a Dockside eventually in somebody's graveyard. Come on now, we're playing cEDH, like it's gonna happen. So yeah, man. Before we close things out, I'll just touch on these last cards. We got Allosaurus Shepherd for anti-counter magic. We got Bop for ramp and early ramp, and Elvish Spirit Guide. Not seen a Simian Spirit Guide. Oh yeah, we do have a Simian Spirit Guide as well.
Where is it?
Flash Duplicate, more clone effects. Of course, we didn't bring it up, but Fauna Shamo is just another tutor because we want to make sure we get that Dockside and combo piece. Mango Horde, really dope stacks piece that is also removal. That slows your opponents down. Do you ever find like where this is too slow for you, or when you're in what, or do you like, how good is this in your for your play style and for the deck?
Uh, give me-
Go ahead, brother.
yeah, body double. Not body double.
Mango Horde.
We are on Mango Horde. To be honest, that's the only card in this list that I'm not playing. It's funny, but it's a card that I have to play. I think Mango Horde is important in this deck because it slows down. It's also another stack piece, and I used to run Reclamation Sage, which is fine, but again, this is much better.
Yeah, I agree.
So the exchange is definitely I would put the Mango Horde into the deck because Dockside is not only a good piece for us, but for every other player as well.
Yeah.
So it's always a good piece.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Helps you get around those clone effects because people clone your Dockside, and now it's like, okay, you have tap treasures now. And on my turn, when I'm flickering this, I'm going to make more treasures because now your treasures are tapped and you can't sack them. So I definitely hear you with that. We've already talked about all these. We brought up Spellseeker, Tinder Walls, more ramp. We have Sylvan Safekeeper, another protection spell, but instead of on the stack, protecting it on the board. Great piece. It's a tough one because, you know, people... Go ahead.
We had Weird Harvest, right? So they are forced to let Weird Harvest resolve if they cannot kill the Sylvan Safekeeper, or if you have a monkey in play, and if you play a what is it? Eldritch Evolution or anything else, you will get Dockside.
Yeah.
You will basically get your Docksides with that in play. Of course, it doesn't protect your other win cons. It doesn't protect your Dockside loop, but you will still get it, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
You have enough tutors that you want to get through, and most of them are green.
Yeah.
Except Gamble, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty good.
I feel
yeah.
With that being said, yeah, these two, both ramp creatures, a little bit of card advantage off Ragavan. We've talked about our tutors and our one wheel. We talked about our interaction package. We can just touch on mana rocks, pretty simple. Choosing to run just 2 of the 3 talismans for the color, which is fine. Choosing to run green, blue, and red, green. Is that just because of your color pie distribution? You didn't want to run the red and blue one, Talisman of Creativity?
I just never put that in the deck though. It has not. I never thought about that, and actually, I think if I would change something, maybe, but it never posed. Never created a problem for me.
Yeah.
Is maybe change the green, red into the blue, red, but I don't think this is that important. But yeah,
that one. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, 26 land is. I think 26 land. I run 26 years.
That was the last thing I wanted to talk to you. That is a low land count, brother.
It's really low, right?
It's all right. Okay, it's not Rockside or like Dahada or some of these other commanders, but my average land count is 28, and for my more turbo decks, I go down to 27 for my Reonia deck. But I tried 26 for Reonia. It works, but it feels so uncomfortable when you'll go like 3-4 turns without making a land drop, and you have rituals and other things that get you there, but it's just tough. And plus, being a mono red, I
Mhm.
don't have the card draw like you do, like with Ristic Study and Mystic, to make up for missed land drops. So, like,
Yeah.
talk to me how does it feel? Not how does it play, but how does it feel on the 26 lander?
Actually, it's fine. So mulligans are a big part of the game already. So you have to mulligan in a way that you mulligan so you can at least protect plus get a Dockside. So
Right.
since you don't, so plus let's just say you have also we also run Chromox and Lotus Petal,
Yeah.
Mana Crypt and all that. Okay, let's just Mana Crypt maybe not because it doesn't give color, but Chromox and Lotus Petal
Yep.
and Mox Diamond exactly.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are all right. Also land drops.
Right. Yeah. I definitely think it works. You know what I'm saying? Plus, like I said, like it works because like I'm not gonna sit here and ask you like, does your deck work? No, I know it works because you fucking crack me with it all the time.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah,
it's definitely one of those things where like, especially now that I moved to mid range with my Marnius, and just having a lot of fun with it, it's actually kind of disgusting. Like playing good cards and not mono red good stuff. Uh, I just
yeah,
find my land drops are that much more important. However, I have to remember when you're playing more of these, call them fringe if you want, call them off the beaten path if you want, whatever the fuck you want to call them. If you're playing non-meta decks, quote unquote, like they can do things that just don't fit in the meta, which is run 26 lands
yes,
and still competently make land drops and still confidently present early
yeah,
turn 3, maybe more mid-range turn 4, 5, 6 wins easily. So yeah,
yeah,
man. And of course, I'm seeing we didn't talk about them, but we brought them up. You are running both Seiju, your fetch package, and we have no order. Yeah, here's your order water right here. And so yeah,
yeah. We run both.
of course, cavern,
It's
the
too good
gemstone
to.
caverns as well, and no cavern. I'm guessing you're not really worried about uncounterable stuff, or would you?
It's Cavern of Souls. Because you also need to name like a creature type, right? So it will only create colorless for every other creature. So
Yeah, I
it's
see. I see what you
not
said.
good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I would say goblins just to cast, which is actually
I
not
mean, maybe
that bad,
pirate for Ragavan and
but
Dockside.
yeah, Ragavan and Dockside, yes, I will run it now. I think the problem is just that since we are mid-range deck and we go into grindy stuff, we need the mana for everything that we do.
I hear you.
So
Yeah.
to if you have your land and you can cast a Orange Frostfang, for example, to go into a grindy game, okay, it's fine, but I think it's not as good for this deck,
Yeah.
basically. I think people can try it. It's like um also on a base. Wait, I say that in the end, but I would say also the thing is basically, which is also important, you can run different tutors as well. For example, if you want to get more chances into getting your Baron, you
Mm-hmm.
can run those cycle things. They get wizards
Yeah.
because you hit Baron Spellseeker, for example, with it. But it's again, this is the same thing I'm saying, playstyle, and
Yeah.
I think for my playstyle, this deck, the way the deck is at the moment, I like it. I will tweak some things. For example, I my lowest land count was 25,
Mm.
which changed, and I realized this 26 is fine.
Yeah.
One card that I'm trying to put in is Rite of Flame, which
Mm.
I don't run to see if that makes it much better.
Mm.
But yeah, I like to play around things, tweak, see, and since I play a lot anyways, I always see like, okay, yeah, how can I improve with that?
Yeah.
What can I do to make that deck run better? Is there any problems with it? And lately, I have to say I'm really confident with that list.
Yeah. Man. Well, I just wanted to say, with all that said, brother, thank you so much for coming on the stream. And dude, like, if y'all are interested, I will post his deck list down inside the comment section. There is a lot of information. There'll be chapters and everything locked in, so you all can really piece by piece. But if you do love Dockside loops, if you do love having a commander that has protection from both white and black, if you do love the tutor, if you love to coming around and sneak out a body double win, or even run with consecrated sphinx, drawing 50 cards in respawn before your next turn, or even cloning creatures, there's so many lines, there's so many paths to go down. I just say check this list out. And also, if you'd like, I can also throw your Discord down in the well, you tell them how, if people are interested in getting in contact with you, how could they find you, brother?
Yeah, through Discord, and also there's as well an Animar Discord,
Yes.
which is really good for people that want to try Animar. And also, I mean, if you are old Animar player and you're like, I want to try that in cEDH, the Animar Discord is really good. Or just if you want to learn about Animar play patterns, how to play Animar, and just talk with somebody about the deck, find me on Discord.
Yeah.
I'm always open to talk to somebody, and as improves myself as well, because talking about things makes your brain work.
Yeah, that's real.
So that's a thing. And yeah, and again, I will go into tournaments. Now I think
you
again
gotta show
now.
them, bro. You got to show these folks,
Yeah,
bro.
a friend of mine told me already. I try to make Animar great again.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Like, y'all, like, look, I'm not gonna say I'm the best player on the planet, but I perform. I do what I do. If I could take a mono red deck to top 16 at Mox Masters, and then a couple months later take
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying, and then a couple months after that play a deck for 17 days, and then get second place for fucking Mox Masters. I know how to play the game, especially cEDH, pretty well. But the fact that I can say all that I know how to play well, and still get my ass clapped up by this list, I think that tells you enough about its viability in cEDH in 2024. So with that being said, I'm just going to do some closing remarks. But before we do, I just want to say thank you again so much. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you a lot coming on.
Don't worry. Thank you as well for having me.
Hey, no problem, brother. Before we go, I just wanted to say, if you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell. If you are on Twitch, make sure you follow and also hit the bell. We stream twice a week on Saturdays and on Mondays, and we just love to do that. If you're looking for other ways to support, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Helps keep the lights on. It keeps me pepped up for these streams. Also, if you would like, I do sell ThunderConductor premium paperback proxies to increase access to this amazing format we love to call cEDH. And very lastly, we have a Discord community where we have an open area where anybody can chat, get updates about channel updates on Twitch and YouTube. But we do have a premium Patreon that allows you to get deeper access to talk about deep things about music, about magic, and just about life. So check that out as well. But y'all be great. Peace.